Conspiracy Journal podcast. The transmission starts now.
Welcome to the Cave of Knowledge. Is that what we're calling this now?
Yeah, my name is Bobby. That's Michelle. That's Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Yeah.
If you heard what we were just talking about, you would not call this the Cave of Knowledge.
You'd run screaming out of the Cave of Knowledge.
Yeah, you would call it the Cave of Nonsense.
That's generous.
It is.
It's something.
It is. Yeah, it was something.
Yeah.
It was drippy. It was gross. I needed to leave.
Tights and mites. A lot of tight tops.
Yeah, I had to go. But now we're back.
Here we are again today.
Mm-hmm. What are we going to do today? What's going to happen to us?
There's no sounds or anything happening.
Bummer.
But I am going to break down essentially the anatomy of a PSYOP.
Of a PSYOP.
Yeah, psychological operation.
Oh.
It's one of those things that I think a lot of people hear about, like in conspiracy world.
Yeah, I think I've definitely seen the word PSYOP and been like, what does that say?
And you always
what
hear
does that
like,
mean?
and I know a lot of people that are listening now are going to be like, oh, I know what that is. But I think people understand what it is, but they don't understand the mechanics of it and like what actually goes into making it work. And
God.
So if you want to manipulate your friends,
Yes, please.
and pull any chick, you have to sign up to this this course that you're about to take.
Hell yeah. I remember the game.
What game?
That
You
book
remember that
about picking up
creepy
chicks.
dude who was like trying to pull girls like by being mean to them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's exactly well said. They had a reality show about one of those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He wore a stupid hat.
Yeah.
And he got
for sure.
Was it a fedora?
and he got a lot of ass. No, it was a fuzzy top hat. It was insane.
It was.
Yeah.
God, it's all escaping my brain.
I mean, it was the
mush.
television show was called The Pickup Artist. It was on the Seminole Television Network, VH1.
That's right. It was based off
Also
a article
peak television.
from the Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah.
It was Neil Strauss, I think his name was.
Yeah.
He wrote an article for Rolling Stone, which he then turned into a book, and then they turned it into a game show, and it was like the downfall of humanity.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, Neil.
Yeah.
That's how we feel.
Yeah. You're gross.
well,
Get out of
now,
here.
Yeah.
Today for free, everyone's going to get that inside scoop on how to do it. So
Nice.
Not really.
Public
This is
service.
going to be more. What's the best way to put it? Just the way that it's constructed and how we and everyone is manipulated. They're old tactics. There's nothing new here, but they're tactics that work, and that's why they continue to use them.
I'm about to get upset. I know it.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
like I should say disappointed. I'm about to get disappointed.
No, you're gonna get upset.
Okay.
What's going to suck is like when you see how blatant it is, it is frustrating.
Okay.
Because we're all susceptible to it.
Of course.
Like, it doesn't matter. Even if you know how it works and you can spot it, you'll still know that
Right.
like something else is working in the background. That's like
Sons of bitches. I'm already
it's
getting
still
upset.
getting you. Like it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna be the not me guy for the audience.
Okay.
Not me. This won't
Yeah.
work on me.
That's right.
Yeah, I would never work on me.
Smart.
So like to kind of start it, do you guys know who Sun Tzu is?
Yes, the art of war.
The Art of War.
Yeah.
And famously in that he wrote, all warfare is based on deception. And just I want you guys to kind of keep that in mind as we go through all of this. Is just especially our government and people in any kind of like leadership, they see us as an enemy. It's an enemy that needs to be conquered, essentially. We're not on their side. Like if they want to persuade us in one way or another, or if they're trying to change our minds or change, I don't know, anything about like the course of culture and stuff like that, they have to actively use deception in order to do that. So to kind of start it off, a PSYOP essentially is perception management, and it's designed just to change behavior. That's literally all it's for. You're doing this thing. I don't want you to do it anymore. I'm going to implore and act these steps in order to get you to change.
Okay.
And
That's such a nefarious phrase. If you're
Yeah.
talking to somebody and they're like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "I'm in perception management." Red flag.
Dude.
yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah.
And this is, again, like, this isn't just political. This is advertising, too. And the advertising model is usually laid out like this. It's like create or spot a pain point, then you amplify urgency, then you offer the only solution. And that's kind of exactly the process of this. And kind of in conspiracy circles, we have problem, reaction, solution. And that was something that the world famous David Icke would constantly be talking about. So the essential pattern is threat, emotion, identity, and then permission structure. So what that means is like a threat is introduced or elevated. There's something there that gets even more amplified. Your emotion narrows, and then there's a specific tolerance for nuance, and then it becomes your identity. Like you make it part of who you are. Good, you're a good person for doing this. And then they institute like a permission structure, so people accept policies and action that they would probably normally reject.
Right.
And that's, in a super basic nutshell, that's exactly what happens. That's the
Right.
anatomy of a PSYOP. So what we're going to do today is kind of break down each of those sections and just kind of give you an understanding as to what it is that's happening during each of those phases.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So like phase 1 is objective and targeting. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, what are you trying to change in this person that you're talking to, or in this group of people? What are you trying to get them to do? So is it like policy change, destabilization, demoralization, recruitment, profit, distraction? So you have to identify target segments. So not necessarily the public. You have to like focus in on specific places. So high trust institutions, schools, and things like that. Low information audiences, highly moral audiences, highly fearful audiences, status driven audiences, and then helpers, which would just essentially be people who will just do it for free.
Right.
They will repeat whatever you tell them, and they will just do it regardless of what it is.
I feel like that's a big part of modern day PSYOPs. That's a key ingredient.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that, because like from where it started until where it is now, it's a completely different game. It's the same tactics, but they have so much more control using social media.
Of course. Yeah.
So after you figure out what your target is and who that target is, you have to move into what is phase 2, which is like narrative engineering. And that's build a story, and all great stories have a villain. So you have an other. You need to have this person that is causing all the problems, and you can vilify. And a lot of great dictators did this. And it was just a matter of dehumanizing something or a group of people. And then you have a victim, and it's someone that needs to be protected. Once you have those two, you can then have the hero. And it's essentially like whatever, if you want to call it the movement or the state, the leader or an in-group, a lot of people attach themselves to that. And then within that phase as well as now there's a time bomb, and that's we must act now.
Always.
And just in there, totalitarian systems like commonly referred or commonly relied on moral downgrading. So the out group, essentially calling people like vermin or a traitor or a contagion type of like, oh, we have to get rid of this. Like, this is crazy. That idea persists through all PSYOPs and all propaganda. That's always kind of there. Is like, we're here to help. I think it was Ronald Reagan who says it's like the 8 words you never want to hear are like, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the last thing you want to hear.
Right.
Ronald Reagan was good at this shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is both ends of the spectrum. This is very common present day as far as the words that you use describing them as a contagion or vermin. You know, they're very like extreme. These poles are very forced into that structure, so they fit right in with this framework. And then from that point, ready to go.
As you're talking, I'm hearing so many different leaders' voices in my head saying things, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you haven't even given examples, but from like phase 1, I'm so upset.
Yeah, totally.
Well, yeah, so like that dynamic is it's kind of the hallmark in propaganda history across multiple regimes and movements. So like Hitler, Stalin, Mao, any like examples of like mass state propaganda. Like Karl Marx specifically in his is like the worst thing you could do is call someone a racist. And like that's what the communists use.
Right.
And they'll constantly use that.
Yeah.
And like you see that more and more today. But yeah, it was just like that's probably the worst thing you can call someone, so call them that. And then like from that, like even in modern day, and like the more you hear things now, it's just like everyone's an ist,
Yeah.
everyone's a phobe.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
once you've labeled someone as an other, you're now accepting the identity of the hero,
Yeah.
and like
Got
they're
it.
the villain.
Yeah. Got it.
And it's
Got it.
just like okay, and like
Here we go again.
But yeah, like that, it's an interesting aspect of like human psychology that this works.
Yeah.
When you get to have people on your side and you make them feel like they're the good person.
Yeah, the
That-
second
that's all
you
you
call
need.
somebody radical left or far right, you've already like, accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
know.
we can like move on to the next phase.
That's-
Because
that's
that like
the-
triggers so
it's
many
a
things.
labeling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about it in terms of myself, and I'm like, yeah, I'm already in this. You know, I have black and white thinking. I just do.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's the thing. Like we're all susceptible to this. So like I have like a short list of modern day things. And I'm really going to try to not make this political or politicized one way or the other.
Right.
So I'm going to use a range of things. And don't say anything, just acknowledge your own feelings about these words. And then understand like, oh, if you have a feeling towards any of this, you've been manipulated.
Not me, friend.
So, and these are just innocuous words, but and phrases, but modern day has us thinking something else.
Okay.
So, Democrat, Republican, woke, MAGA. What is a woman? Straight white male, white, black. They're just words.
Yeah.
They're just phrases, but you have a
Yeah.
reaction to those
Yeah.
things now.
Tall whites.
The tall whites, yeah. The Nords. Like, so that's kind of like the idea of all of this is just, there's phrases and it's part of the structure. And we'll now get into that. So phase 3 is delivery and amplification. So channels evolve, but the requirement stays the same. Repeat, normalize, and socially reward. And that's a big part of it. So typical amplifiers would be the press and broadcast, cultural channels. So like music, film, celebrities, and academia. Celebrities and academia are two big ones.
Yeah.
NGOs and like
What's an NGO?
non-government organization.
Okay.
So you have these like non-profits.
Like NPR. Well, I guess that goes into broadcasting.
NGOs are often like charitable organizations
Yeah.
Okay.
operating.
Planned Parenthood.
For sure. But like a lot of international organizations are
Okay.
kind of under that NGO umbrella. when
Okay.
people are
They're
talking
not
about
actually
that. So
government, but they got the power.
there's a lot of like charitable organizations in Africa are often like what you hear when people talk about NGOs.
Okay.
And they're also a good way for people to launder money.
That's so I started when you were just saying that. I was like,
So when you have
Red flag.
when you have people like a political candidate, doesn't matter what side, they all accept money from NGOs. So some people can only accept so much money from like private folks. So if there's a billionaire that wants to donate like $2 billion to someone's campaign, they can't outright do that.
right.
Without,
So they start an NGO.
so
and
there's
do
an
it
NGO
way.
that they filter the money through, and then that money goes to whatever causes these politicians want to use it for.
My eyes just rolled so hard that it actually hurt my face.
Yeah, man, when you get into talking about business structures and people hiding money, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last part
And
of this
so effective.
would be social platforms, and especially like anything that's considered to be a recommendation system. So like you will like this, essentially the quote unquote the algorithm.
Yeah.
So like once you participate in viewing some of this stuff, that's why you'll see more and more and more of it. And that's a good way to amplify a message. So every once in a while you'll be like, oh, you didn't have a black square on your profile, and then people will hunt you down for it.
I remember when people posted a black picture on
Yeah.
their Instagram. Right. I just didn't know what you meant by a black square on my thing. I just like I was.
Sounds like somebody didn't post the black square.
So it would be stuff like that. And like if you think of even if you're just going to do a color square, think of Fire Festival. It was the orange square,
Dude, that's
Sick.
one
And
of my
it's-
favorite stories ever.
and it's part of advertising. That's
For sure.
That it's just marketing. And that's kind of why I wanted to draw the comparison between like a psyop and psychological operation with advertising, because it's the same thing, essentially. You're like, ooh, what is this? And whereas like advertising is you're just trying to draw attention to a thing, the psyop is specifically engineering your perception of it. So it's less about, oh, yeah, you're raising awareness, but you're also building something else behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, it's funny because when you were explaining all the parts, I was thinking about advertising a lot, because that's, I don't know, it doesn't feel so heated. And I was just kind of thinking about how like random things started going into my head, like how if you make a box like brown muted colors, I think it's healthy. You know,
right.
And like I was just kind of thinking about that kind of stuff, you know.
It's still trash inside, but
yeah,
like it
exactly.
doesn't, like, yeah.
But the marketing, that way that it's packaged, really does work, you know. But then I also started thinking about pharmaceutical commercials are the exact things you're talking about. It starts out with the problem. You know, someone has, I don't know, psoriasis or something, and, you know, they look all bad. There's, you know, pictures
moderate
of
to severe plaque psoriasis.
You saw that? You saw that commercial?
Yep. And I know this. I know the answer.
Yeah. I can't say the name of the medication, but there is a cure. There's a hero coming, and you know,
with those cures though, there's always a whole giant list of problems
diarrhea
that come with
and
it.
death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every time. Anal leakage every time.
Yeah.
But we got another solution for that.
Yeah.
And another set of problems.
That's true.
And another solution for that.
Yeah. But the storyline is exactly the same. Like, here's the problem, here's the solution. The heroes come, or actually you're the victim, you know, and then there's a hero on the way with a pill that'll give you diarrhea and death.
Ride a bike at the beach.
Yeah. And there might be like a flying pig or something.
There's probably
cute.
hot air balloons somewhere in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, oh, you probably need this tampon because
Definitely.
you're going to be in a hot air balloon
That's
later
right.
today. So,
Yeah.
and then
that's all.
another aspect of this is also now into like a phase 4 of it is like co-optation. So they'll find other grassroots things where it's already kind of established, and then that money from like NGOs and stuff starts filtering in through it.
Right. I'm back. Okay. Right.
So this is where many movements get like essentially used, even if it began sincerely. It was like they had this operation that they were like, oh yeah, we really want to save this, or they get behind this, and then it's just taken over. And the mechanics of that are essentially like funding capture. So the donors that are actually giving the money through like foundations and corporate sponsorship, leadership capture, that money now promotes specific spokespeople to stay on message. Brand capture, so through logos, slogans, merch, and professional PR. Media capture, the movement becomes a content product. So more people want to be part of it and talk about it, and it feels like it's an actual like movement now.
Right.
Then outcome drift. So the original goals are now replaced by institutional friendly goals. So what you started with in terms of like your little thing, this little grassroots movement, has now completely shifted. It sounds the same, and everyone that's involved with it still feels like they're doing the right thing, but your entire messaging and your entire drive has now been co-opted by outside money.
Okay.
And
like
then
a pre and post election.
Yeah.
It's just like running on this platform, and then once in office,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, things have changed.
Right. Now, this moves into phase 5 of consolidation. The public is guided toward a policy. Here's a list of things that you can potentially do. So a specific policy, or a war, a crackdown on something, censorship, a funding package, or permanent bureaucracy, or possibly even like a consumer solution. So this is where problem, reaction, solution becomes observable. It's, again, I have to keep drawing the comparison to advertising, but it is the best way for people to understand what's happening. And then phase 6 essentially would become like memory management. So you have to reframe history so the operation looks inevitable or virtuous. You label critics as extremists, traitors, or immoral. And then you shift the attention to a new crisis before accountability lands. Because at a certain point, everyone's going to start seeing through this.
Right.
And like, you're just going to be like, oh, this is bullshit.
Right.
We've been had.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable. So like during that, you now have to start showing someone else, you essentially start over.
Start a new problem.
Yeah. And you start shifting it into this other thing that now is
Right.
the new issue that we have to start conquering.
Yeah. Sons of bitches.
So that's essentially like how it's broken down. That's all that happens. And it seems so simple when like you hear it like this, but that's all that's happening. And there are very specific tactics that are used. And that's what I want to get into next. And it sucks. Because if you're just looking at this from, even again, going back to just advertising, like you're like, yeah, whatever. I got sold this dumb thing.
Yeah.
And it's not really a problem. But when you see how it's being used to actually shift people's perception of like their neighbors,
Yeah.
like it's terrible.
Yeah, Greg's about to ruin your day.
Yeah. Yeah. I already feel like my day is ruined, but I'm ready to know.
Phase two day ruining.
Yeah. I'm ready.
So the tactics, going back, this is ancient. This is Sun Tzu level stuff. Like this is just ancient warfare. So ancient warfare used morale collapse, so intimidation, rumor, and spectacle. Sun Tzu explicitly describes deception as a standard doctrine. Today we have shock content, and then viral clips, and very, very curated outrage.
Right.
Like, you're supposed to be mad at this. And like, why aren't you mad enough at this?
And if you're not mad enough, you're terrible.
You're a bad person. Yeah. So that's essentially like disinformation and infiltration. This was like Cold War stuff.
Right.
So planted stories, front groups, cultural influence, media relationships. This kind of gave way to Operation Mockingbird, which could be its own podcast. Like, this is its own episode. Like, Operation Mockingbird was started in the 70s by the CIA, essentially to infiltrate media outlets to help keep them on message that the government wanted. And they were actually found out during that. They planted people in CNN and NPR. And this was in like the late 90s, prior to 9/11. So right at the end of the 90s. That's when they were found out. So
Really?
But this started back in the 70s.
Shit.
And I know there's going to be listeners that have all of the information on Operation Mockingbird. But like I said, like, I just kind of want to stay specific to the anatomy of a PSYOP. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. Put a pin in that, you guys. Mockingbird. Also, all I hear is like from Dumb and Dumber. Mock.
Yeah.
Bird.
Yeah.
One good example of this would be like during COVID, you heard every single news station say the exact same things. And it was a script.
Right.
They were all given it. These are how you say it. This is the script that you follow. And it's just like, well, that came from somewhere. And there's plenty of clips online. And everyone within our circles and like probably listening now has seen the montages of just hundreds of different newscasters and spokespersons saying the same exact words.
Yeah.
And this causes domestic disruption and like delegitimization of your opponent, essentially. And a good way to do that was also founded back in the 70s. Well, started in the 50s, was COINTELPRO. You might
Give it to me again. What?
It's
what now?
People called it COINTELPRO. It's COINTELPRO.
Okay.
All the punk rock songs I know call it COINTELPRO.
COINTELPRO.
Yeah.
But it's a counterintelligence program.
Okay.
So what you're trying to do is like you're going to infiltrate, discredit, disrupt. So when you see protests in the country and all of a sudden they turn into riots, they're usually caused and started on purpose.
Right.
There are people planted there that are there to disrupt.
I know this to be true.
Perfectly
I know
normal, perfectly healthy.
Yeah. I know it in my heart that what you just said to me is true.
And that's done on purpose to break up what's going on. You're trying to delegitimize what it is that's happening.
And it works.
And it works flawlessly.
Fuck.
So that's another little tactic that they do.
I'm upset.
Information and environment warfare. This was kind of post 9/11. And I want to get into like a little bit of a history over the past 25 years. But post 9/11 was very specific because We started with the 24-hour news cycle. So it was able to frame these ideas constantly. And they were able to embed narratives a lot easier. And then also gave this permanent crisis posture. Like it was just like everything's burning to the ground now. And like everything's terrible. And like everyone jokes about that. It's like you can't turn on the news without seeing something terrible happening.
It's true. But
that's part of it. It's like keep everyone afraid. You can easily control them that way. Because you're constantly offering that solution.
Right.
If you're a human being, it can't not affect you when you're just like constantly intaking that much chaotic information. It's having an effect on you whether you realize it or not.
And it's constantly othering. But if you notice, it's never about people in charge. It's never about really politicians. Like it becomes that way during election cycles. And obviously in our modern day right now, as of recording this, it's a very hot topic thing that there is one specific person that's just constantly dragged.
Yeah.
And it's just, you have to ask why. And then when you find out that like, oh, it's just, and then there's people that are are mad at you because of this other thing happening.
Right.
It's like, that's how you know you're being manipulated. You're being told to be mad at these other people.
Right.
There's a lot of people, I know a lot of people presently that like that's become their identity. They've let it get so inside that this kind of like othering and like antagonism and chaos has like become who they are as a human being.
Yeah.
The PSYOP worked.
A fucking great success, dude.
It's so crazy that so many people are, intolerant, but like screaming about people being intolerant by being the most intolerant person I've ever seen. You know? It's like, how's that solution?
Fucking got him, dude.
Yeah, it works. It works.
And it gets people not focused on what it is that they're supposed to be mad at. Half the time people don't know what it is that they're really mad at. Like that gets into like the next part of this is like algorithmic amplification. So like this is the more modern day. So all of this prior is just stuff that they would use the news and radio and movies and celebrities, and like they would get these people to just repeat things. Now we have the internet.
Right.
Well, more or less, like it's not even internet; it's social media, where even social media has been highly co-opted, and it's essentially using like high trust messengers. So people get access to information in higher echelons of things if they repeat a message. So, like if you have these quote unquote influencers telling you how to vote, it's like you have an understanding that they're bought and paid for.
Right.
But it also could be that previous idea of the helpers. The idea is permeated so much that they think that they're helping.
Right.
They think that they're doing the right thing now because all of social media is telling them that this is what they're supposed to be doing. So they're like, everyone around me is doing this.
Right.
And it's for like a good cause, quote unquote. So I'm going to do it. And now they're just helping out.
Yeah.
They're helping the PSYOP along.
Right.
Because they think that it's like a good idea. This is also blended in with bots. Bots are a big problem online. I think what they say, it's like 70% of the internet now is bots.
Nuh-uh.
So it's the dead internet theory. It's just, if you're interacting with people online, it's most likely a bot. It's crazy.
Is that true?
So
is
who you're arguing
What?
There's a, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know the numbers, but like the internet's a big ass place, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in there,
it's
you
true.
know?
That's
So
true.
it's,
It's
I mean, yeah.
The dead internet. Am I talking to no one is real?
But also these bots are for sure arguing with each other as well,
Yeah.
which is just like, what is even going on?
Well, this is like the idea of like engagement. And like these things are...
Oh my God. I think I've been reading bots fighting with each other, thinking it's real people and being like humanity is lost. And it turns out I'm lost.
Yeah. But like that's like not to get too crazy, but hey, that's why we're here. It's the Conspiracy Journal podcast. Welcome.
Yeah.
That's the PSYOP is like you reading the bots arguing with each other.
Yeah.
And you're getting manipulated
I'm
by
so
watching these
upset
bots
right
argue
now,
with each other.
you guys.
You know? And you're
You
like, look at
guys.
these stupid piece of shit bots. Can
I
I
know so many
can I buy
people-
some pharmaceuticals? You know, like,
You want to hear something crazy that I'm about to say, even though I know I'm a part of the PSYOP? I'm a victim.
We all are. It's not just you. We all are.
I feel like a real victim right now.
and that's it's part of these phases is like making people victims, then using their victimhood and turning them into the evil and the perpetrator.
I'm already like, what's the solution? Well, I'm going to start my own fucking psyop and I'm going to get them back.
Sure.
Man.
Yeah. You can give it a shot.
Yeah. I did just have to look up. I wasn't sure if we were already living in the like terrible future. Is that there's not yet perception management as a degree path in school specifically, but it's very soon. Now it's like hidden inside an MBA presently, but perception management is it's going to be the biggest business.
Well, that's the thing too, that it comes down to academia being one of those places that you want to target. And that's because you get people teaching that to younger and younger children. Like, it's essentially how you can control them.
I rolled my eyes out of my face again, you guys.
You get them to stop asking questions. You just believe what you're told, especially when it comes from a quote unquote authority figure. And like, you tell them that there's experts. Like, think about what happened with Oxycontin. And it was just like, oh, the experts are saying it's non-addictive.
I know.
Look at all the experts.
I know.
Look at these charts.
It makes me cry.
And then what actually happened?
Yeah, it makes me cry every time I think about it. I'm going to cry right now. Killed so many people.
Well, it's advertising.
Yeah. Fucking God, I'm a victim.
So yeah, that's essentially the tactics that they go through. It's back in the day, like back in like wars and stuff, like they used to like drop leaflets on places.
Yeah, some of that was rad though.
The leaflets themselves,
yeah,
the
some
art.
of it was like the rebel art, you know, it was like really fucking cool.
Small pornographic cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is like our modern day dropping leaflets.
Yeah, true that.
It's just online now.
It's just Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bug.
So it's like the modern progression model. Tactics evolve when the old ones stop working, plus timing and like quote unquote burying dynamics. So this is a pattern that eventually takes place more modern in more modern context. Consensus framing, which is like experts and institutions. The moral framing, so good people agree, bad people question. So don't question it, just do it, and do it because you're now going to be labeled as a good person. Emergency framing is we have to act now. If we don't do this now, the whole world's going to fall apart. Permission framing is rights and norms become conditional. And that we see a lot of that today. We see a lot of all of this today. Enforcement is platform bans, job penalties, legal pressure. Going back a few years, like we called that section cancel culture.
Right. Gotcha.
And then you just reset with a new crisis. Start over. Like, it's just go through all of these things. Go through this. If this doesn't work, move to this. If this doesn't work, move to this.
This is already currently present day how we like intake almost all outside information.
Right.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And you'll hear that. I think a lot of people listening understand it too, where it's just like everyth's a psyop.
Yeah.
And
you're fucking tweaking me out, man, dude.
If you stare into your little black mirrors, you are participating in a psyop. Everything coming through your phone, through your iPad, through your computer, through your television. If you go to the movie theater, it's all programming.
Is that what that show is? Is that what Black Mirror means? Is your phone?
No, well, Black Mirror was a thing back in the day that scryers used to use to like talk to other dimensions.
Oh, nice. Okay. I've never watched the show because I feel like I'm living in it.
Oh, no, it's a true story. It's a documentary.
Never got there.
Multi-season,
I heard
multi-part
it's excellent,
documentary.
But I also live here, so I've seen it.
I think you would really enjoy it. You should watch it. They're also a big sponsor of this podcast.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But
Who's that?
Yeah, the Black
got
Mirror sponsored
Netflix,
us.
Black Mirror.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
Dun dun.
That's Law and Order.
Oh, no, I was thinking,
Also, happy to have the Law and Order sponsor.
Oh, that's actually, you know what?
Oh, nice. Yeah, pretty
You
close.
know what? It's
Fair
pretty
enough.
good. You know what? I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody sponsors us. Thank you.
but it's funny to even like bring up Black Mirror. Black Mirror had like such a very specific starting point, and that was like a British show.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to watch the newer seasons of Black Mirror start shifting into a very specific
American, like social media seems to be a lot of
social
the
media,
topic
but
in
like
some way.
very hyperly social topics.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
because of Netflix.
True that.
And like Netflix gets their orders from top down as well. And like they start pushing these ideas and these talking points through their shows that oh, isn't this a progressive show? And everyone, and if you don't like it because of that, like, oh, like the story sucks. But if you say the story sucks, everyone's attached themselves to like the social justice aspect of these shows and movies. And it's just like, well, no, the story is bland because you shoehorned in all of this stuff that nobody wanted to hear. It didn't support the story. And that should be your first guide in like writing a movie or TV show.
Right.
And if it doesn't support it, then why is it there? And then people pointed out that it's dumb that it's in there. And then all of a sudden they're an ist. They're a phobe.
They're another.
They're an other.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to just consume this content and like it.
Okay, I'm such a victim of this that I'm already like, you know what? I'm taking away that fucking Netflix sponsorship. I don't even want their goddamn money, you know? And like,
I'll take it.
what am I? Yeah. All right. Well,
I mean, that's
God
like
for you.
That's part of
Otherwise,
like
we're going out of business.
Yeah, the layers of this stuff. Netflix is they're gonna run a psyop on you to be like, we're not like that.
Yeah.
And like very.
This is so confusing, you guys.
active.
I'm really conflicted.
It's
right
pretty
now.
layered.
Yeah,
man.
because I'm in it, but I have a little bit of awareness, you know, and it's like, ooh, how deep in this am I? You know, because my mind is really struggling. Really, it's going back and forth.
Well, I'm about to start breaking down from when this kind of started in like more of a modern day sense of like the things that we see day to day now, where it all began, how it got to this point. And I'm going to stay away from major political events like election seasons and things that. Because I want us all to like really just like think about the progress of this and not necessarily, like it was
This
because
instance.
of this. It was like this president said this and this person did that. It's literally like there's a formula to how we've been manipulated over the years. And starting with the big one, again, it can be its own 10-part series on this, but 9/11. And what happened there?
What happened there?
Do
we remember what happened there?
It's one of those things is when on a podcast like this, when anybody brings up 9/11, it's like, oh shit, what are they about to? What direction are we about to go?
I feel like all of us just kind of Homer Simpson in the bushes a little bit. But Greg and I were we were in a different country one time, and we had a driver, and he just turns to us and goes, "You guys remember 9/11?"
we thought he was joking, and he was like genuinely asking us a question.
It's a little inside joke that Greg and I do remember 9/11.
Yeah.
He was a very nice man. He was trying to show us a 9/11 memorial in his country to a van full of American people. But the way he turned around and was like, "You guys remember 9/11?" We were all like, "What? What now?"
Well, with 9/11 came a permanent security framing and narrative centralization, the 24-hour news cycle, and it instituted the Patriot Act, which allowed the government to spy on its own citizens.
Dude, epic. Also, own episode.
So during that time, so that's September 11th, 2001.
I remember.
And then and it took a full 10 years of like just living in that. And like, again, that was its own psyop. We had there's 1,000 different things that happened in that 10 years. But it all kind of led to a head at a certain point, September 17th, 2011. And that was Occupy Wall Street. When people were fed up with this idea of constant war and
the 1%.
And essentially the 1% making everyone else poor because all they wanted to do was go to war. Yeah. So we all kind of rallied behind this idea, myself included.
Yeah,
and
I was into it.
That too was essentially sort of co-opted at a certain point, but died off. It only lasted 2 months. So September 17th to November 15th. It was just that mass economic grievance that kind of changed the rhetoric about inequality. It was essentially like the ultimate class war. Yeah. Moving from that, this is the only time I'm going to mention a specific president, and that was Barack Obama. What he did during his term, obviously he started a lot of wars as well, but the rhetoric he was using was shifting off of class war and inequality that way and moved it more towards social. And it became a race thing. And during his presidency, myself included, along with a lot of other people, were listening to things he was saying. And like a lot of people were starting to think like he's trying to start a race war. It was very subtle.
Right. I'm like, I missed that, but I think maybe I was busy.
Yeah.
You know? So
I mean, and that's the thing. Like they're
maybe
counting,
I was like, tuned into that.
They're counting on people to be.
Yeah.
But also during that time is when Black Lives Matter started. And that was in 2013.
Huh.
And that's where we can go back to the idea of co-opting. So that was like the birth of something that was going to then be co-opted and used later. And obviously we know where that went. So after a couple of years into that, the ever-present and ever-loving Pizzagate started. And this is like after WikiLeaks and all that stuff started.
Oh man, I forgot about all this. This time period is crazy.
So WikiLeaks was huge. And then that's where like the Hillary's emails and like all that shit was like really popping off. And then it was also John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, the was it Comic Ping Pong, the fucking pizza place that had like children in the basement type of shit.
Yeah.
Didn't have a basement, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
crazy?
a big part of it.
Yeah. Didn't have a basement.
But also, like a man went there with a gun. I don't remember if he shot anybody, but he went there with a gun.
But there was a huge push to discredit this leading into the 2016 election. It was a huge push. Everyone was talking about how ridiculous it is. And
Right.
And that like, what, pizza? What are you talking about? How's pizza children? And like things like that. And like, what emails? What are you talking about? It was like, there was a huge push to discredit it. And then it went away. And then the next thing that came in right after, in October 15th of 2017, was the Me Too movement. And then Me Too took over. And that was the birth of cancel culture. That was like the strongest point of, if you don't do this, you're going to lose your fucking job. I can't believe they did this. And it was something, again, that was co-opted. The idea of it, everyone could get behind.
Right.
But then it just led into these nefarious places. And it also came with a huge agenda behind it. And then from there, we move into the first appearances of QAnon. And that was in October 28th of 2017. And then QAnon moved into COVID. And again, can be its own 10-part series on like how much of a psyop all of COVID was.
We've really been riding a wave. Dude.
Yeah,
and
dude, you're like, I'm like, as you're talking, I'm like, I remember that. And holy shit, this has been a really drastic 20 years.
And then through COVID, like people started really questioning what it was that the government was trying to do to us. And like, you couldn't not disagree with them. Like if you asked a question, you were a terrible person and you're killing your grandparents. And like,
Right.
And it was a crazy time.
Yeah.
And then you would lose your job. You had to get this experimental drug or else you couldn't go to work. Like there was like all of this stuff happening.
I cried, like not necessarily to be like one way or the other, but like being made to take put something in my body that I wasn't so sure about. I cried.
Yeah.
I was really upset. I did it, but I was upset.
And we all had to live through this moment where we started to see that like, an authoritarian regime could possibly take over.
Yeah.
And if you wrap it in this idea of safety, that's also like a thing that they do. It's just like, you have to do this for the safety of everyone around you.
Right.
And like you give it that like punch.
Yeah.
People buy into it. I remember there were times like I was outside by myself. No one's outside at this point. I was just going for a walk because I wanted to get some fresh air, not sit in my apartment.
Which we were allowed to do.
Right.
You know, we were allowed to go outside and exercise or whatever.
Yeah. And I just walked around the street. I wasn't wearing a mask. I was like, I'm by myself. I don't give a shit. Like this woman crossed the street.
Yeah.
Went out of her way to yell at me.
Oh, shit.
To put a mask on.
Yeah.
And I was like, you could have stayed over there.
Right.
There's no, if you're so
time.
afraid, you're now in my face. Like
That's true. It was a scary time, and she could have chose a different path.
Or
the birth of the Karen.
Yeah.
That era.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ground zero Karen.
Yeah.
So again, like COVID was such a big operation. When people started questioning it and really started to deny it, and like people were just like, fuck this, I'm going out, I'm doing my own thing. They rolled in George Floyd. And then that whole thing happened.
Jesus Christ.
And that was in May of 2020.
That was, dude, that was such a spicy time.
Yeah.
That was
You could
the
feel
spiciest
it.
moments, I think, of our lives. You know, a lot of stuff is going on, but those two things
Yeah.
coinciding, for those,
Yeah.
those weeks, that month there, it was so wild.
And that
Yeah.
that lasted for a while. And like that idea
It did.
And
it was
it's still-
strong. It had a lot of strength for a long
Yeah.
time.
And a lot of people, again, you got behind it. And it's
Yeah.
just like when you start realizing like why is that being shown? Why
Right.
was this particular moment in time like being amplified as much as it was?
Right.
And I'm not trying to say it wasn't important. I'm not trying to say it wasn't an extreme loss of life that didn't need to happen, but it was the messaging behind it.
Right.
Like it's interesting when we find particular moments in time to like, oh, this is going to be the cultural thing that shifts everything.
Right.
So they used an unfortunate event as that. And then they used the emotion that people were feeling who were already terrified from sitting at home.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
now like ramped it up even more.
Yeah, it was like that was such an insane time, And I was in New York City, and here, I mean, we had a curfew for the first time in our lives. I think the last time New York City had a curfew was like 100 years before or something. The stores started boarding up their windows. We had barbed wire on the outside of Saks Fifth Avenue and stuff. And there were like riots in Soho and stuff. It was really, really intense here. And it's, I laughed when you said something just now because it did get people like pumped up, and I ran away. I packed up my cat and I took off to a friend's house down the beach, and I hid. Like that's what made me leave was like when the summer of 2020, I was like, I can't, this is unsafe.
Yeah.
I got to get out of here. That was, you could feel the tension in the air, and it was just everyone in this entire country, I think, was maxed.
A lot of this,
know?
it still feels like, it feels so alarmist to say, but I feel like if you look at the evidence, it's not alarmist to say that things like this are early phases of a PSYOP. Now seeing things boarded up and barbed wire in New York City is kind of normalized.
Right.
Now that like
Yeah.
that's done, and like these
Yeah.
streets closing off, and these certain types of presences in our lives, they've been introduced and they are becoming normalized. And like, around New York City, it'll take me about 5 minutes to find a police officer with an AR-15.
Yeah.
Just hanging out, looking at his phone.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I mean, I still like the AR-15 does register. It does make me nervous, but I'm not like, what's going on?
Right.
I'm not like, what's
Right.
happening today that this
Yeah.
guy's here? The fact their presence is normalized, I just don't like it. It still makes me nervous. Also, because that dude's always 21 years old.
That's the thing that scares me, I think,
Kids
the
with
most.
guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I started seeing it right after 9/11, like coming into like Penn Station
Sure.
or Grand Central. There were just children in military uniforms that didn't fit them.
Yeah.
With giant guns.
And
And
it's-
that never really went away.
It's so weird to me that that dude just can't wait to get off work so he can go try to fuck a waitress at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
That's his priority. That's where he's at mentally.
Because he's
And
still
you, like,
19 years
gave
old,
him
and
an
that's what
assault
19-year-olds do,
Yeah, these I do like. Again, it sounds so alarmist, but I know that it's true that that you introduce these things, you introduce these elements, we get you. It's an abusive relationship,
Right.
These things start to become normalized. And
Yeah, they
that's
call
so
it, it's
scary.
like pushing the goalpost. They keep
Yeah.
moving it.
Exactly.
And now
Yeah.
it's just like, now these new norms are part of our culture and we just got used to it. And now the next thing happens and there's new norms that are introduced.
The next time there's like barbed wire outside of Penn Station, it's like, okay, well, how do I get into Penn Station?
Yeah,
I'm just
this
not
is
even
fine.
like, what's the barbed
Yeah.
wire for?
Yeah.
I'm just, where can I get in? Because I got to get a train somewhere.
Right.
And there's that old saying too, it's the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So like all of these things are instituted with the idea of safety and like this is like for the greater good.
Right.
And like we all buy it.
Yeah.
And we all just live through it. And there are people out there that are fighting it tooth and nail all the time, of course. But for the average and for like that bell curve average person, it's just we just let it happen. And it just keeps happening and keeps happening. Now, from George Floyd and everything that happened after, things calmed down for a little bit. And then we also learned this is where the co-option of something learned to be exactly that. And that was BLM turned out to be a scam.
Right.
And people started to realize that like all of these people that were running this, who probably, again, started it with good intentions, are now rich.
Right.
And that they didn't use any of the money that they raised
Right.
to actually like help their community. They were financially stable themselves. They bought mansions and it's like, oh, okay. So like, fuck that. But now like that's kind of worn out. And then right after that, in February 24th, 2022, the Ukraine invasion happened. And that's when everyone had their Ukraine flags. That's when everyone was rah that. And it was just like, Russia bad. We're all in with Ukraine. And then that kind of died out. The fervor for that kind of settled down. And next thing you know, it's Israel and Gaza. And now it's everyone's pro-Palestine or pro-Israel. And it's like that. That's still lingering to this day. And then like October 7th, 2023, that's when the Hamas-led attack happened that everyone talks about. And that was the problem that kind of kicked all of that off. And now that's dying down. And now we're at current day. And it's ICE and immigration.
Yeah.
And it's, if you think about that, this isn't anything that any other administration didn't do. But for whatever reason, in Minnesota, right when this stuff started popping off, there was a video that was posted that showed massive amounts of fraud and billions of dollars leaving that state that the governor at the time, Tim Walz, was responsible for. And he had no real answer for it. And then as soon as like that was coming into the mainstream of people understanding that, then everyone started asking questions about their own state and how much fraud is actually taking place and where are my tax dollars
Where's
going?
the money?
And that instantly turned into like an immigration thing. And it became everyone fighting federal agents in the street. And a lot of it is known to be paid by these NGOs, a lot of the people that are out. But a lot of them are these helpers who think that they're doing the good thing.
Right.
But it's all paid for. And it's paid for by a specific side, one way or the other. And they all have the same agenda and the same thing in mind. They want you to not focus on something. And in this case, it's most likely the fraud.
Right.
And I'm not saying like what specifically the fraud is, but I'm just trying to show and illustrate how these stories become popular. And like, I just went through 25 years of how everyone forgot about all of that shit that they were so
upset about
and upset and gung-ho about. And
Yeah.
like they were cheerleading.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself what you're cheerleading for right now. And is that manufactured? Because ICE and the immigration things are dying down.
They got us. They got us primed up right now. They got the Greenland button and the Iran button primed. That's
Yeah,
like we're going to take
that's
over
true.
Greenland.
Oh,
We're
wait.
positioning warships around Iran. So like they're ready to turn the knobs.
Yeah.
On a different shit all the time.
We're not done yet. we're so close to being done. And like this is obviously up until the time of recording of this. There's going to be more crazy shit that happens. Obviously, when our listeners are hearing this, but now that immigration stuff is kind of dying down, what comes out? Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
And they were forced.
Yeah.
And we still didn't get everything.
No, of course not.
There's still no one being arrested.
Right.
Nothing's actually
In
going
our
down.
country.
In our country. There are going to be people that get thrown under the bus.
Man, I
Always.
just got to, and this is everybody will be like, of course, that somebody finally gets arrested for Epstein shit, but it's because he like shared government information,
yeah.
not because he did anything.
Yeah.
Not because he sexually
Yeah, of
assaulted
course.
anyone.
Nope.
He's like arrested, but he fucking talked about our business, and we
Yeah.
don't like that.
Yeah.
So that's where the arrest comes from. Is get the fuck out of here. dude.
Yeah.
Well, you think about like what was the information that was released there, and why are there no protests? Why are there no riots in the streets? They're fucking kidnapping and sex trafficking children, and nobody seems to care about this.
I know. I know. It's fucking crazy.
So you have to ask why.
Yeah.
No one talks about it on the news outside of like, oh, these things were released, and then. But with all of that, Pizzagate was also confirmed.
Right.
Now they're trying to push Jeffrey Epstein as a Russian asset, which isn't going well. no one's letting up on the Epstein stuff.
Sorry,
So-
I haven't heard that yet.
Now we have Donald Trump saying, I'm going to release all of the alien stuff.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
UFO information and all the documents related to that. Please stop talking about Epstein because they want that to go away.
Yeah. But you know what? I don't know if the alien, like if the pivot to aliens and UFOs is going to work, because there has been so much, there's so many government officials who have already said, yes, I saw this, I saw that. And like no one gave a fuck.
But this is one of many levers that are being pulled.
Right.
To,
Let's
to
see
divert
what
the
sticks.
attention. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they've done such an excellent job with the Epstein files stuff, that resisting releasing the information. Like, so many people have let go of anyone actually being held to account or prosecuted, that what they're calling for is the release of the documents. And so they're like trickling these documents out, and that's kind of placating some of these people that this stuff is happening. But what you should really be asking for is people in fucking prison.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and
And then Pam Bondi comes out. It's like, well, if we did that, the whole system would collapse. And it's like, well, then I guess it needs to collapse.
stop diddling kids.
Yeah.
Stop it.
All right, so I
Goddamn.
have a couple more sections to get through, and
Okay,
and then
sorry.
we can kind of wrap this one up. But like, with all of that information, one big question that has to like be answered as well is who benefits. So when you do all of this, when all of these things are happening, who's benefiting from it, and like why? Like, why would they do all this? Why would they stir all of this up? Like, who gives a shit? But there's a political benefit.
Of course.
There's votes, there's legitimacy, there's emergency powers that can be instituted. There's
Money.
financial benefit, people who gain new contracts, people get funding and ad revenue, people start getting political donations. Institutional, it's just some people get new authority, oversight power, censorship ability. There's competitive, of like rivals get discredited, they get divided or exhausted. Like
Right.
there's a lot of ways. And there's like the narrative side of things of like who gets a story changed from accountability to absolute chaos. Like which one of these like major news outlets gets to do
Right.
that first.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons that people would want all of this chaos to go on. And last, if you haven't been paying attention to this point, I'm going to just give a short checklist of how to spot the PSYOP.
Fuck yeah. Give it to me.
And this is just like a quick diagnostic of it all. So a preloaded conclusion. You're told what to think before evidence is presented.
Okay.
There's binary framing. Only two options, no third path is allowed. It's this or nothing. You're not allowed to question it. Identity hooks. Disagreement equals moral failure. Slogan dominance. Short, repeatable phrases that replace explanation. There's just this thing that you can say, and then you don't have to explain it. Evidence asymmetry. So antidotes get amplified, and counter evidence is stigmatized. So if you give an alternate view, you're the bad person. Manufactured consensus, quote unquote, everybody knows this, or everyone's
Right.
doing it.
Yeah.
And then there's like a curated expert chorus. You have like everyone's saying the same exact things. Then emotional saturation. This is a constant outrage, fear, disgust, humiliation. If you're noticing that. Incentivized sharing, so social reward for reposting something, and then punishment for questioning it. Then policy trail, the narrative conveniently funnels to a specific solution. And rapid pivot. Once doubts are like overrun, attention is redirected to something new. That's how you know you're leaving.
Yeah. Entering a new one.
You are now
entering-
leaving the PSYOP.
Yeah. But there's one big one though too. If you're not allowed to question, like that's really the first telltale sign that it's a PSYOP.
Red flag.
If you're not allowed to question what it is that they're like is being told to you, that you're in a PSYOP.
Shit.
That
This
is the big one.
This whole world is a PSYOP.
Yeah, everything is.
Fuck.
I couldn't help but remember. It was one of those documentaries that we all probably watched when we were teenagers. I forget, floating around. It might have been like Loose Change, the one that talked about how all the wars got started.
Oh
And
yeah,
it was just like the financial gain of all these corporations, like the Gulf of Tonkin,
Right.
like which has started the Vietnam War, and like how every war had one of these events to it, and it's so effective and so disheartening because all these things come down to money. And then once you have all the money in the world, what's left? And that's power.
Power.
And it's all of these things come down to money and power. And all of these like political moves, the influence just comes down to money and power. That's all people want.
And so, like,
that's what all this is
if
for.
people that don't have money, don't be mad at other people without money.
I know.
Right.
Like, people have to like go back to that idea of Occupy Wall Street, and it just being like, this isn't a war for policy. This is a class war. It is an us versus them type of idea, but we are so many more than those
Than the
folks.
1%.
And we have to starve them out. If you want to protest, don't go out in the street and burn down your own neighborhoods. Stop paying for things. Don't go to those big corporate box stores. Don't do that. Just stop giving people money. When you stop giving them money, they pay attention.
Right.
They want to start changing what it is that they do in order to get you back for you to give them their money. Also, don't fall for the new stuff either. Just protest with your wallet.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do anything.
I believe that to be true.
For the listener, if you're listening to this and you're just like really overwhelmed and sad and bummed and like where to go or what to do, just meditate. Be nice to people. You know, the great author George Saunders, he gave a commencement speech once, and it was about being kind and how we all have this idea that's like, yes, that's great. Once things are in order, then I will be nice to people. Then I'll be super chill and nice to people once everything gets squared away. And kind of his point is, do it right now because that day will never come.
Yeah.
Be kind to people, be kind to the others around you. If you're looking for an active way to combat these things and solutions like that, it's take care of yourself, be nice to the people around you. And that's just some starting point because it is so frustrating.
Yeah, I have this idea of
angering,
just-
so scary.
Yeah. I know, I think I've told you guys before, but it's just the idea of I treat everybody as if they're having the worst day of their life.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
That
it's
is
just-
beautiful.
Yeah.
Like if they're angry, let them be angry. I've been there. Like
Yeah.
everyone is
Yeah.
just another version of you living out a different life.
Yeah.
Like you've experienced and felt all the things that they feel. Don't be mad at each other. It's not useful, and it's not going to help anything. Just know that we're all fucking being manipulated.
Yeah. At the end of your life, when you're getting on an alien spaceship to go to a different dimension, you're never going to be upset with like, I didn't yell at enough people. I
Right.
wasn't angry enough.
Right.
But you might lament the fact that it's like, I didn't experience enough joy. I could have been nicer to people.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you're going to think about. So
Yeah, and when you side with something, question why you're siding with it. That's all. But yeah, I think I'm good with bumming everybody out.
yeah, don't forget to smash and like and subscribe.
Yeah,
Do stuff.
Jesus
damn.
Christ.
Don't forget to apathetically press that like and subscribe.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Because
I am
nothing matters, so
bummed.
it's not going to hurt you to press it.
Nothing is real. Even the button is fake.
And I don't know. I came into this one thinking like it was going to be more educational than historical thing that happened. But like, I think this is an important thing that, you know, everyone should understand is happening. And like, I don't know.
Oh, and it's happening.
Yeah. And has been for a long time.
Dude, I went into this thinking I was going to learn how to get a girl.
Yeah, what happened to that part, dude?
Dude.
Where's the endless pussy?
Seriously. Dang it.
I don't recommend using any of these things on your family and friends, but
The Conspiracy Journal came out in a book in 2020 called The Controllers, Who Really Controls Planet Earth, exposing the existence of the soulless ones, which was written by Commander X. So I don't know that, you know, that book doesn't talk about the same things that you were talking about, but does hit on some of the points. Then we also have a book called The Matrix Control of Philip K. Dick and the Paranormal Synchronicities of Timothy Green Beckley, our founder, which talks a little bit about some of this stuff in a more fun, lighthearted way, which is like where I want to be in my life, you know, just like I need a little palate cleanser. So those are two books that I recommend recommend. And if you have anything to say about this, or if you feel like you've been controlled, or you just have some opinions or whatnot, you can call us at the Strange Exchange and tell us about your experiences and how you're seeing through the veil and how you started one or ended one or whatever you're up to. Give us a call at 929-445-3705.
Goodbye.
All right.
Goodbye.